One important thing, I ask the doctor to take my place for now. I am aware of the significance of the historical moment we are experiencing and therefore of the debate that is taking shape. And I allow myself to intervene, not as president, but as an elected city councillor. So, for this moment, I will take a seat among the council members. I ask the doctor to take my place. Thank you. So, can you hear me? Gabriele Federici, another city. Mr. Mayor, councillors, colleagues, advisors, and all those present, I would like to speak in this chamber on this agenda item, considering the topic of historical importance for the city of Anzio. The debate and the resolution take place in the highest city assembly, in the magnificent setting of Villa Sarsina, once a place of refuge for the displaced people of Anzio during the war. And this should lead all of us to deeply reflect on the reckless and senseless nature of fascist Italy's foreign policy. On June 10, 1940, Italy declared war on Great Britain and France. On June 22, 1941, Italy declared war on the Soviet Union. Finally, on December 11, 1941, Mussolini's Italy declared war on the United States of America. The outcomes and consequences of these declarations of war by Mussolini left our country in a heap of ruins and our people in utter poverty and despair. In 2025, it will be 80 years since the liberation of Italy and Europe from fascism and Nazism. The Anzio landing represents a crucial moment for the Italian campaign and for the liberation of Rome, which took place on June 4, 1944. The Italian Republic rose from the ashes of a regime that brought our country to moral and material ruin. Today, with our regained freedoms, I challenge anyone to live in a state marked by censorship and systematic control of communication, as was the case in Italy during the 20 years of fascism. In particular, Mussolini's Italy censored freedom of expression, speech, and the press. And in the repression of the freedoms of association, assembly, and religion regarding the latter, how can we not mention the anti-Jewish legislation from 1938 to 1945, which led to the deportation and killing in gas chambers of thousands of our fellow citizens, women, men, and children, solely for being Jewish? The national debate on the removal of honorary citizenship from Benito Mussolini by the various municipalities of Italy is not recent, contrary to what one might believe. For example, Naples revoked Benito Mussolini's honorary citizenship in 1944. And it's interesting to note how the Neapolitan capital was the first major European city to independently rebel against the Nazis, even before the arrival of the Allies. With the popular uprising of the 4 days in September 1943 by those great people, the Neapolitans. Coming to the present day, the revocation of Mussolini's honorary citizenship by the municipality of Salò certainly sends a signal that has also been picked up by other municipalities in Italy. On April 25, 2004, during a solemn ceremony at the Quirinale Palace, the banner of the city of Anzio was decorated with the Gold Medal of Civil Merit. The honor was conferred by the then President of the Republic, Carlo Azeglio Ciampi, with a citation that I encourage everyone to go and read. Therefore, I first ask myself, in 2004, with the then city administration, which was different from the current one, were there more urgent matters for the municipality of Anzio to deal with at that time than the awarding of the Gold Medal of Civil Merit? Personally, I believe that the decoration awarded to our municipality by a figure such as the President of the Republic, Carlo Azeglio Ciampi, was a significant event, and one which, to this day, as President of the Council and as someone elected to the City Council, but above all as the grandson of evacuees and citizens of Anzio during the conflict, I feel a profound historical significance. Therefore, bringing to the Council debate the revocation of honorary citizenship from Veneto, Mussolini retraces that republican and institutional perception which unites all political forces without distinction. From the center, center-left and center-right, all of which derive their legitimacy from anti-fascism and democracy. In 2003, Gianfranco Fini, during his visit to the Holocaust Museum, Yad Vashem, in Jerusalem, did not hesitate to confirm that fascism was absolute evil. Well, I feel I can agree with this statement. 22 years later, Mussolini's path to power was marked by ongoing criminal acts committed by his fascist punitive squads, violent attacks on the offices of political parties, newspapers and labor unions, as well as the physical elimination of political opponents, often defenseless, who were brutally massacred. In August of 1923, Don Minzoni was assassinated. In June of 1924, Matteotti was killed. Afterwards, how can we not think of Gobetti, D'Amendola, the Rosselli brothers, who were also barbarically murdered? These episodes just mentioned are only some of the political murders that illustrate the violent, brutal, and anti-democratic nature of fascism. At best, it forced its opponents into exile. Let's just think of Altiero Spinelli, father of the Ventotene Manifesto, who gave us that united and democratic Europe, which was recently called into question in Parliament by the President of the Council of Ministers. And so let's think of Ernesto Rossi, Eugenio Colorni, the President of the Republic, Sandro Pertini, beloved by all, who was even imprisoned in the Santo Stefano prison, also on the island of Ventotene. The granting of honorary citizenship to Mussolini in various Italian municipalities originated from an idea by the then Undersecretary to the Presidency of the Council, Giacomo Acerbo, to launch a grand manipulative operation to secure public support, which at that very moment was at risk of crumbling. In fact, just like in the case of our own citizenship, the granting of honorary citizenship, it happens at the moment when the functions of the municipal administration are interrupted and replaced by the extraordinary functions of the Royal Commissioner's administration and the administration of the Prefectural Commissioner. This is the story, this is the truth. We witness the suppression of the council body as a democratic organ replaced by a single-person body that decides to grant honorary citizenship to the Duce. It is an imposition. It is a crucial moment in the contemporary history of administrative law in our country, which helps to understand the procedural steps involved in granting citizenship. One day in Parliament, Giorgio Pisano, a senator from the Italian social movement who fought in the Italian Social Republic, met a socialist representative, a senator from the Italian Socialist Party who belonged to the National Liberation Committee, Pisano di Ciaffoa. We fought on opposing sides, each with honor. Now we can shake hands, the MSI senator says to the socialist. FOA replies to him and says, "It's true, we won, and that's why you were able to become a senator. If you had won, if fascism had won, I would still be in prison." There you have it. Think about that for a moment. In conclusion, let us remember that the Constitution of the Italian Republic was born from the resistance and from the defeat of fascism and Nazism. Staying in Anzio, we highlight the deep and significant historical connection with the Second World War, as it was the site of violent clashes. Considering Mussolini's role in the fascist regime and the consequences of the war suffered by our people, removing his honorary citizenship is above all an act of revolution. It is a gesture of recognition and respect for history and for the local victims. I think of our fellow citizens who lost their lives during the war here on our coastline, such as Nima Paolini, Claudio Paolini, and Raffaele Palomba, just to name a few of the many victims swallowed up by that war frenzy willed, generated, or justified by fascism itself. That same institutionalized hatred. By Mussolini's regime through the racial laws of 1938, which saw another of our fellow citizens discriminated against. Commander of the Council, our task is not to erase history, as some would demagogically and foolishly have us believe. Our task is to remember history, to preserve its memory. Because if we are all here today engaging in a democratic debate, we owe it to all those values that defeated fascism. As Primo Levi said, all those who forget their past are condemned to relive it. For this reason, as stated, I will vote yes on this item on the agenda. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Federici.